Hey guys, so I'm here to give you my first impressions on week 1 of the spring anime lineup for 2012. And before I start, I'd like to point out that I've already done a full review on the first episode of Shirokuma Cafe, which you can click here to go and see that review if you haven't seen it already. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is Fate Zero Season 2. Now, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Fate Zero. Sometimes I find it incredible and completely immersive and so enjoyable, but other times I find myself very, very bored. Sadly, and I know a lot of people are going to dislike me instantly for this, I was quite bored through most of this episode until the end, where I was starting to get a little bit immersed, and then it ended. That being said, Fate Zero is a very interesting show, and while it may not be my favourite thing, I think it's worth at least a watch. Kimi to Boku Season 2. So Kimi to Boku is the story of 5 high school boys who pretty much do nothing and remember the times when they did stuff that really amounted to nothing. It's a really nice and relaxing slice of life show, and I definitely think this first episode was better than most of season 1. A few things I noticed as well were things like there was background music where I thought there wasn't any before. I think the character interactions in the series are really quite interesting and funny in parts. And number 3 is I really like the artwork. I didn't like it as much as I like it now, I don't know why. Maybe I just miss Kimi to Boku and that's why I'm suddenly thinking it's a great show. Basically though, this is more of the first season, and if you saw the first season and liked it, watch season 2. If you saw the first season, didn't like it so much, skip this one, there's nothing different. And if you want to see this show, you don't need to watch season 1, but you probably should go and watch that anyway. So next thing I watched is Lupin the Third, The Woman Called Fujiko Mine. Now, this is my first exposure to the Lupin the Third franchise, and to be honest, I was quite impressed. Though a few flaws that I could find straight away were the characters and the plot were completely lost on me. I didn't know what was happening, I just had to guess. So I've been recommended this show from all sorts of different people on Twitter, on YouTube, in friends. They all wanted me to watch this show, and I was highly impressed. It was a very, very enjoyable first episode. From what I understand, Lupin the Third is some kind of master thief, and he meets a woman called Fujiko Mine in this first episode, and I guess some sort of rivalry ensues, question mark. If I've gotten that wrong, please do feel free to correct me, because I don't know. I thought it was quite comical in parts, and because I knew nothing about this show prior to watching it, it seemed a lot more sexual than I was expecting. Like, there was a lot of nudity in it. I'm not quite sure why, but the art style, which was fantastic, made me think it was an artistic choice rather than something that was just completely unnecessary and distasteful. Mysterious Girlfriend X, or Nazo no Kanojo X. Against my better judgment, I decided to watch this show after having 2 of my friends at university completely rave about how much they love the manga and how good it is. And to be honest, I expected very little. The story is of Tsubaki, and a strange girl who transfers into his high school known as Urabe. One day, for some reason, he tastes her saliva and becomes kind of dependent on it. And because of that, their relationship grows. Now, like I said, I expected very little from this show, but because I expected so little, I had room to be very impressed by it, and I really actually enjoyed the first episode, and I'm not quite sure why. I have to admit, this isn't going to be my favourite show of the season by any means. I'll give that its premise is a little bit different and a bit quirky, and I'm sure it's going to get stranger as it goes on. Side note here, the animation has a very early 2000s feel to it. I'm assuming that's taken pretty much straight out of the manga, which started publishing in 2004, so it's not really a modern look to it, but it could be a positive or a negative depending on how you like to watch your anime. Sankareya. Sankareya is the story of high schooler Furuya. He has kind of an abnormal obsession with zombies, so much so that he often thinks about having a cute zombie girlfriend, I guess. As a member of his family dies, he finds a book that is said to be able to resurrect the dead, and that is when he meets Sankareya, and they spend an evening together before cliffhanger at the end. I don't know what happens. I was actually relatively bored through most of the first half of the episode, but when the main female Sankareya gets introduced, I found myself a lot more interested because I thought their character interaction was quite good. I'm not too blown away by this show, and I didn't expect to be, so I'm not too disappointed by it. It offers a lot of promise, but that's about all it has right now. So I guess if you are interested in zombies in any sort of mainstream media, you should probably watch this. Sengoku Collection. So this is an anime based on a game, and the story of Sengoku Collection is of a loudmouth, pink-haired girl from the Sengoku period who is transported into modern-day Tokyo, and her name is Oda Nobunaga. I've seen this done before, where they make old Japanese historic figures into cute girls and then put some sort of time travel twist on there, and it's dumb. It's been done before. I'm just not interested in the premise of this show. I was interested in seeing this because it was based on a social networking game, which was something I hadn't really heard of before in anime, so I was like, hell, why not? And I instantly regret that. The reason that I don't like this show right now is because it doesn't have anything special about it. It doesn't have anything memorable, no kind of twist I haven't seen before. The thing was, it didn't even have great artwork to make up for the fact that the first episode was kind of boring. For now, if you're thinking about watching this show, I would just wait until more reviews come in and base your opinion off of that. So the next one is Uchu Kyoda, or Space Brothers, and Space Brothers is the story of Namba Muta, who once dreamt of being an astronaut when he was younger, along with his younger brother Hibito. In the year 2035, Hibito is now among the first group of astronauts to spend an extended amount of time on the moon. After being fired from his job, Muta decides to follow his younger brother and decides to become an astronaut. This was something I wasn't going to pick up originally. I didn't think it sounded very interesting at all, and the only thing it really had going for it in my mind was the production company. But it was one of the first shows to come out, so I decided, hey, I'll watch this, I'm bored, I'll watch this, and it was so good. I honestly think this will turn out to be a great watch for anyone who is interested in astronomy, or maybe even just those people who like stories about achieving your dream, because I definitely have a soft spot for those kind of stories and I can't wait to see more of the show. And the last one I have to talk about this week is Zetman. So hello, my name's Ebby. I'm very dense sometimes. I don't know how to explain this story without spoiling it, because my anime list, the synopsis on that, basically gave away what's going to happen for the near future, I guess. But as far as I can tell you, Zetman is a kind of graphic seinen series that has something to do with players and mysterious powers, and I can't do this story justice, I am sorry. After all the hype that Zetman got, and after about 15 people to pick got, I guess, it was enjoyable enough, but so far I really don't get the massive appeal in it. However, I'm going to look forward to seeing more because I have high hopes that the series is going to get better after the whole Origin episode, but it could just be my mind not being tasteful enough for you guys, I'm sorry. So anyway, that's it for the first week of anime first impressions. I'm going to do one next week, and then the week after I'm going to be starting episode reviews on a certain series that I'm not going to tell you about yet. So if you guys have seen anything this week that you absolutely loved or hated, let me know down below, and I'm expecting loads of Shirokuma Cafe responses down there, just so you know. Here's a present for you for sitting through this whole video. Since I made so many mistakes, I decided to make a bloopers video too. No. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.